In a tense moment, there are demons present, and someone is instructed to hide while another character goes to help Celica. They provide enchanted items meant to give courage for survival. Despite fear, promises are made to return once Celica is safe. The scene emphasizes the importance of not giving in to fear or despair. The world has fallen into chaos, with evil spirits possessing humans and beasts who hunt and kill indiscriminately. For one individual, only two things matter now: the taste of blood-soaked flesh and seeking revenge against a specific person. This marks a dramatic shift in the world order. Arthur has finished chopping firewood, but needs to delay providing medicine money. Another character offers to hunt prickle boars to earn money themselves. The scene demonstrates self-reliance and family members trying to help each other despite difficult circumstances. An intense hunting scene unfolds with someone following fighting maxims while battling boars. They must control their emotions during combat, though their instructor notes their hot emotions could be both a virtue and weakness. The hunt is successful enough to afford medicine. After the hunt, there are warnings about demons near the village. Discussion reveals that only those with special exorcist talents can fight demons. It's described as cold logic that emotions can't change. There is speculation about becoming an exorcist and talk about innate talents. Daily life continues with shopping, discussions about style and medicine delays due to demon problems. The conversation reveals tensions about demon threats and doubts about protection, including mentions of an exorcist who can no longer use his right hand. The scene returns home, where someone cares for the sick Luffy. They discuss a compass invention and its uses for ocean navigation. The conversation reveals dreams of adventure and exploration, showing hope despite current circumstances. As night approaches, there are references to a significant Scarlet Night from the past. The atmosphere becomes more ominous as characters prepare for sleep, suggesting approaching danger. The next day brings panic when Luffy goes missing. After searching, they're found in the forest heading toward the Cape. Despite initial anger, there's understanding about wanting to gather flowers for graves and see the ocean. A peaceful moment turns dangerous with the appearance of a demon. There's intense action and fear as characters try to escape, demonstrating the real threat demons pose to their world. The Scarlet Night arrives, bringing catastrophic events. A ritual involving a sacrifice is revealed, leading to tragedy. The scene ends with intense emotion and unchangeable consequences, marking a dramatic turning point in the story. There are mysterious references to demons and a character named Artorius Colbrand, who appears to be an expert exorcist. He claims he will end the pain of those affected by Daemonblight in a village. This sets up the central conflict between Artorius and the protagonist. A pivotal moment occurs involving betrayal, with someone vowing revenge against Artorius. The protagonist spent 3 years in darkness, surviving by consuming demons to stay alive long enough to exact vengeance against Artorius for what appears to be the death of their brother. The protagonist undergoes a test to prove their worth. Upon passing, they learn that during the past 3 years, exorcists have spread throughout the land fighting demons. Artorius now leads the Exorcists' Abbey in the capital city of Logris, viewed as a savior, but achieved this status through sacrifice. An escape attempt begins from what is revealed to be a prison island for violent criminals. The protagonist and their ally strategically plan to use other prisoners as a diversion while they seek an escape route via the back docks, learning about a path under a watchtower. During the escape, they encounter an eccentric character named Magailu and face off against demon-possessed guards and exorcists. The protagonist reveals superhuman abilities and seeks a sword called Storm Howl, which is stored in the prison. A major battle occurs with Oscar Dragonia, a high-ranking exorcist praetor. The fight leads to a dramatic moment where an ally asks to be consumed to grant the protagonist more power, revealing their ability to devour demons and gain their strength. The protagonist finally reveals their identity as Velvet Crowe, declaring their intention to devour demons, malachim, and exorcists alike. They embrace their monstrous nature and continue their mission of revenge against Artorius. The escape party grows to include Crowe, who pledges loyalty for helping recover Storm Howl, and they make their way to the docks. Despite treacherous weather, they manage to find a ship and prepare for departure, though they face additional challenges from pursuing exorcists. The group successfully escapes, but immediately faces new challenges as they encounter exorcists on the mainland. They obtain a map from a mysterious child and must figure out their next move while dealing with their complex group dynamics and individual motivations. In a tense situation, suspicion arises about someone potentially working for the exorcists. A mysterious figure is being tracked, with hints of potential danger and conflict looming. The scene introduces Lady Teresa, an authoritative figure from the Abbey, who is enforcing punishment on some individuals due to their connection to someone named Dial, who is smuggling flamestone. A discussion occurs about the cold climate of Northgown, with concern expressed over appropriate clothing for the weather. The conversation shifts to talk about capturing Dial, described as a dangerous demon who killed soldiers. Someone offers to help catch Dial in exchange for ship repairs, with information provided about his location in a village outside the city. An encounter with an exorcist leads to an emotional discussion about the Abbey's policies regarding demon attacks in the Outlands. Eleanor Hume, a praetor patrolling for the Abbey, introduces herself and discusses the investigation of a demon incident in Heloves. The conversation reveals tensions between the Abbey's responsibilities and their limited resources. A fearful child reveals secret information about a lizard demon hiding in a northern cave, sharing this information only after receiving assurance of confidentiality. This leads to a confrontation with Dial, who reveals the truth about a larger smuggling operation and his desire for revenge against the guild that tried to frame and kill him. A touching scene unfolds between siblings, where Oscar reveals his injuries from a battle with a dangerous demon woman with black hair. The conversation highlights the threat posed by this mysterious demon and shows the close relationship between the siblings, including a meaningful mention of treasured earrings. An intense sequence follows with the capture of a stowaway who has connections to a demon woman. This leads to a dramatic nightmare sequence and emotional aftermath, revealing deeper personal conflicts and relationships between the characters involved. A major battle breaks out involving demons and exorcists, with strategic combat and dangerous abilities being displayed. The fight escalates with the use of flamestone, sulfur, and oil, leading to massive explosions and fires in the port area, causing widespread destruction. The aftermath of the battle shows significant consequences for Heloves, with discussions about navigation and leadership dynamics. A character named Number 2 is introduced, highlighting the complex relationship between malachim and orders. The scene demonstrates the mechanical nature of these beings, who follow orders without question. The story culminates in a pirate attack, leading to a land-based confrontation. A powerful figure known as the Reaper emerges, demonstrating impressive combat abilities. The scene ends with crucial information about a fortress at Vortigern and the challenges of reaching Midgand, suggesting future obstacles and adventures ahead. A tense negotiation unfolds between two groups seeking to pass through a gate. One side proposes forming a partnership since they lack the strength to proceed alone. There is hesitation about trusting pirates, but both parties maintain their independence to make their own choices. The crew volunteers to help, but is instructed to stay focused on their duties with the Van Altea. Terms are agreed upon. Help will be provided in exchange for use of the ship and crew until reaching the capital. However, a warning is given about the Reaper's curse that brings misfortune, demonstrated by consistently landing on tails when flipping coins and the deaths of 5 sailors at the fort. Despite the risks, the partnership moves forward. Introductions are made between the group members, including Velvet, Number 2, Rokuro, meaning sixth son, and Eisen. There is tension around referring to someone by just a number. A potentially dangerous situation arises when one member stays silent due to strict orders, revealing they were bound by an exorcist who sealed away their personality. The group encounters guards that transform into demons, revealing they carry Daemonblight. Quick thinking and observation helps avoid a dangerous confrontation. The team works together to navigate the situation, with clear communication being established between members. Upon finding a locked gate, the group confronts a Knight of Midgant who initially refuses to help. Through intense interrogation, they learn the key location and battleship directions. The team must choose between retrieving the key from the control room or dealing with the battleship threatening the Van Altea. A touching moment occurs when discussing pain and fear, emphasizing that feeling these emotions proves one is alive. A fascination with compasses and adventure is shared, encouraging open expression of feelings and personal interests rather than following strict orders. An encounter with an exorcist practicing the Rangetsu sword style leads to a fierce confrontation. The fight reveals connections to the Abbey and past training experiences, adding layers to the ongoing conflict and personal motivations. The group successfully navigates through challenges and reaches Logris port. They discover Captain Ifrid might be imprisoned in Titania. To avoid detection during a grand ceremony, they pose as Magulus Menagerie, a traveling performance troupe, successfully fooling the guards with their act. Prince Percival Asgard addresses crowds, praising Artorius Colbrand's actions from 10 years ago. The crowds cheer for Artorius, though dissenting voices view him as a murderer who sacrificed Lord Melchior and used Malachim power. The group's infiltration becomes more complicated amid the heightened security and celebrations. A dramatic confrontation unfolds as accusations of murder are leveled against someone who is portrayed as a beacon of reason. The accused is celebrated as Artorius, a savior and shepherd figure, despite protests that they killed and took everything from the accuser. The crowd chants "Chamber Artorius" repeatedly in devotion. A speech discusses how people were asked to endure pain and bind themselves willingly for the greater good. The speaker claims that only unwavering reason and iron will can defeat calamity. They pledge their life in service, promising to create a world without suffering through the blessings of the Empyrean Innominate. The scene shifts to a casual conversation over Mabo curry, which leads to revelations about a tragic past involving a murdered brother. This connects to discussion of shadows, guilds, and criminal activities continuing even after leadership changes. A mysterious contact offers information about Artorius' plans in exchange for completing illegal jobs. The conversation turns to Captain Ifrid's disappearance, with clues about a pendulum and someone named Legate Melchier being connected. The characters discuss their personal motivations and relationships, particularly focusing on Velvet's courage in facing the world alone and the nature of their rogue existence. A confrontation erupts with Eleanor Hume, an exorcist praetor, leading to a battle involving Malachim. The scene includes destruction of a storehouse containing medicine provided by High Priest Gideon, raising questions about the purpose behind destroying medical supplies meant for distribution. Information is revealed about Shepherd Artorius heading north to the Empyrean's throne for a ritual to relocate their seat of power. The group discusses barriers, security measures, and the need for a special key to access the area. This leads to negotiations about new tasks involving a high priest. Tabitha Baskerville, leader of the Bloodwing Butterflies, formally introduces herself. The group plans an assassination of a high priest who prays alone each evening at the royal villa. Discussion reveals connections between Captain Ifrid, prison islands, and mysterious relics from across the sea. Philosophical musings about destruction, emotions, and the treatment of objects versus feelings highlight the internal struggles of the characters, particularly focusing on the consequences of being a demon. A group enters a tunnel connected to a castle through a hidden passage. They receive a warning about dangerous crocodiles in the waters below that particularly enjoy eating witches. The team, described as an assassin's crew, must proceed carefully through the passage. The group discovers an unexpected library filled with rare and valuable books, including some written in ancient languages. While some are fascinated by the collection, tension arises as they debate whether to steal any books, with one member reminding them they are there for an assassination mission. The group encounters an ambush. It's revealed they were investigating a nectar operation run by High Priest Gideon. A confrontation breaks out regarding the proper way to handle his punishment, with some wanting immediate action, while others insist on following proper Abbey protocols. A dramatic supernatural confrontation occurs involving a witch named Miss Mabaloo, who demonstrates impressive magical abilities. She reclaims control over a being named Bienfu through a formal ritual, showcasing her power as someone who can manipulate the universe and souls. High Priest Gideon attempts to justify his actions, claiming he sold nectar to fund temple construction and help people. The situation escalates when it's revealed Artorius ordered the operation against him, leading to an intense confrontation where someone named Velvet vows revenge. The group discovers a mysterious barrier containing some kind of beast. They successfully complete their mission, though questions remain about the demon and the High Priest's fate. A confrontation occurs with someone who lost their exorcist powers. A quieter moment reveals personal details about characters, including one's fear yet fascination with the sea. A poignant conversation occurs about a brother who loved the ocean, with regrets expressed about a compass never purchased and travels never taken. The scene shifts to a report about incidents at the villa in Logris, including deaths caused by a demon's left arm. Eleanor requests new Malachim to fight this demon, but is questioned about fighting with hatred. The presence of a captive giant demon is revealed. The group develops a strategic plan to confront Artorius, who uses a long sword and has a new Moloch named Enomi Not. The plan involves straining his connection to the Moloch while using healing arts to sustain a frontal assault, despite the extreme risks involved. The scene opens with an unlikely group of companions, including Ceres, who is chosen to be a mother bird. Someone vows revenge for Laphicet, setting a determined tone. A plan is put into motion as they prepare to crash, clash, and crack through obstacles that stand in their way. A fierce battle ensues where someone invokes the fourth maxim about never letting your guard down, even in victory. The antagonist calls upon Innominate for aid, displaying incredible healing powers that make their wounds vanish. This supernatural display of strength leaves others shocked and calling it unfair. The scene shifts to an interaction involving Lord Artorius, who is usually attended by Master Shigur. Batman apparently wants to see Artorius harmed, while someone named Melchior emerges as another adversary. A demon appears and needs to be dealt with. An emotional confrontation occurs where questions about pain and motivation arise. The protagonist reveals they continue fighting because of Luffy, who endured much more pain. Regret and apology follow this revelation. A severe punishment is ordered involving demons. The story moves to a scene involving supernatural elements, with earth pulse reactions creating extraordinary effects. A character named Wallach is criticized for straying from their path, particularly regarding naming a month after their brother. The perspective shifts to someone waking up, discovering their wounds have healed after nearly dying. They find themselves in an earth pulse, described as a river of natural life energy. The collision of Enomi Not and Laphicet's powers apparently tore open this usually invisible force. A critical situation develops involving a Moloch needing a pure vessel to prevent demonic transformation. An exorcist volunteers to serve as the vessel, leading to tense negotiations and conditions about potential outcomes. A lucky coin is mentioned as a special vessel. The scene transitions to confusion about current circumstances, with characters questioning how they ended up in their situation. A revenge tour appears to have hit an unexpected obstacle, leading to uncertainty about survival and success. The group faces practical challenges of carrying an unconscious companion while exploring unknown territory. They decide to rest until recovery, acknowledging their new companion as part of the team due to their connection with Laphicet. A secret mission is assigned through Melchier's communication art. Eleanor receives orders to protect a Malik and transport them to Lobers Abbey headquarters with complete secrecy. Despite moral conflicts about working with demons, the mission is accepted under full authorization. A tense encounter begins when someone questions about a swordbreaker. The situation escalates quickly with confusion and panic, leading to someone begging for mercy from what they perceive as a demon. An exorcist named Eleanor steps in to calm the situation and identifies herself as a praetor. The group learns they are on Cadnix Island with a port at the end of a ravine. The swordbreaker is revealed to be a troublesome demon who specifically targets sword fighters and breaks their blades. This demon possesses a unique foreign-made sword and has defeated multiple praetors. A mysterious figure appears, identified as the swordbreaker. A battle ensues with impressive displays of power. The swordbreaker is revealed to possess a weapon called Stormquill, creating tension and intrigue among the group. Lord Shigure appears, identified as one of two legate exorcists and a legate. A complicated relationship is revealed between Shigure and another character named Rokuro, who are brothers. Their reunion is marked by tension and competitive spirit. The group encounters Kurogane, a legendary blacksmith who became a demon in his quest to forge a sword superior to Storm Howl. He agrees to forge new dual short swords using unique materials and techniques. Eleanor faces a moral crisis when confronted by other exorcists who view her as a traitor. The situation tests her loyalties and resolve, leading to internal conflict about her duties and beliefs. An intense battle unfolds between Rokuro and Shigure, showcasing impressive swordsmanship. Despite Rokuro's clever tactics and determination, the fight ends in a stalemate, with Shigure challenging them to return when they are stronger. The group prepares to depart on the Von Eltia ship. Kurogane joins them, determined to create a sword that can surpass Storm Howl. The crew sets course for the Azalt archipelago in South Gand, with their next objective being to find Grimolar and decipher a mysterious book. A discussion begins about Captain Eifried, comparing him to the sea itself, sometimes calm, other times raging, with depths that are hard to fathom. Despite his mysterious nature, he accepts outcasts and misfits into his crew, showing both kindness and unpredictability in his leadership style. A crisis emerges when 3 crew members collapse from Quarthurf's Forcerer Scourge, a serious illness. The captain orders an immediate course change to Port Renede to obtain medicine. There are concerns that the entire crew may be infected since symptoms first appeared 3 days ago. The group encounters strange phenomena, including a compass moving on its own. They discuss different types of sensory abilities, with Lofi demonstrating particularly sharp senses. The situation feels similar to being sealed inside an earth pulse, suggesting they may be dealing with an extraordinary demon. The team discovers purple solitoma flowers, which appear to be crucial for healing. Despite their unappealing appearance, they recognize their importance for helping others. They soon encounter a powerful demon protected by an unusual barrier that even special weapons cannot break. After defeating the insect demon, there is debate about whether to keep it alive for observation, given the Abbey's apparent interest in protecting it. The team successfully collects the needed flowers, which should help cure Eleanor and the infected crew members. A sobering conversation reveals that someone has lost 50 comrades, highlighting the dangerous nature of their lifestyle. They warn others not to let their guard down, emphasizing the real risks they face in their adventures. An encounter with Zavit leads to tension over a stolen artifact belonging to Eifried. The confrontation reveals deeper conflicts and hints at upcoming challenges, particularly involving the Abbey and a character named Melchier. The story shifts to discussing Eisen's background and his connection to the Reaper's curse. it's revealed how Ifrid helped Eisen find purpose, teaching him to embrace his curse as part of himself rather than denying it, leading to Eisen's decision to join the Von Elthia crew. A significant confrontation occurs with Von Ifrid, revealing complex relationships and potential deceptions. The interaction is interrupted by revelations about family connections and hidden motives. The situation escalates dramatically when Lord Melchier appears, demonstrating the power to transform someone into a demon. This shocking development leads to chaos and reveals the darker aspects of the exorcist's actions. A major battle breaks out involving dragons and various combatants. The fighting reveals surprising choices and motivations, particularly when someone unexpectedly saves a wyvern, challenging assumptions about their moral code and raising questions about their true creed. A tense confrontation unfolds as Melchier makes his escape after examining a special weapon. Rather than stealing it, he seems more interested in copying its hidden formula, as his specialty allows him to decipher other arts quickly. His parting words, "My work here is done," suggest the Abbey has plans for this mysterious weapon brought from another continent. The story behind Siegfried is revealed. Zavid explains he was once an exorcist's slave under Enominiat's domain. During a mission to capture Ifred, one shot from Siegfried broke the mind control. An epic battle followed, but Melchior interfered using illusions to capture Ifred, who managed to pass Siegfried to Zavid before being taken. Zavid declares his intention to find Ifred and return Siegfried. However, time may be running short since Melchior only recently learned Siegfried's true capabilities. With Ifred no longer needed for interrogation, his life could be in danger. Despite an offer to team up, Zavid refuses, citing his creed against killing. The scene shifts to a discussion about an important book containing Meliodosian script. A young character named Luffy shows interest in ancient history, particularly the Era of Darkness. The scholarly conversation is interrupted by authorities searching for suspicious persons. Vidal, whose father is an exorcist, helps hide the group and shares a secret about an Omega Elixir recipe from the ancient book. This powerful medicine requires 5 ingredients, though only one has been translated so far. A friendship forms over this shared secret. The narrative shifts to questioning the Abbey's true motives. While supposedly existing for peace and order, something feels wrong about their actions. A personal story emerges about demons destroying a village 10 years ago, leading someone to become an exorcist, seeking revenge. A lighter moment occurs discussing local wildlife, specifically the Pangeon bird and its culinary uses. This leads to tense exchanges between humans and demons, revealing underlying prejudices and personal histories. The group searches for someone named Grimoire, described as having an aristocratic air. Their search is interrupted by important news about preparations and deployments to Polymedes, along with warnings about a dangerous demon in Haria. The search culminates in spotting what appears to be Grimoire. A confrontation begins, revealing connections to a character named Bianfu. The scene ends with introductions being made, particularly focusing on a character named Velvet. A group visits Grim, an old acquaintance who is asked to help read an ancient tome. Initially reluctant due to sensing trouble, Grim eventually agrees to help after being impressed by one member's genuine interest in learning the ancient language. The group relocates to Haria village for a more comfortable study environment. While decoding the ancient text from Avarost, they discover it's actually a collection of children's counting songs. Through clever reordering of words and pattern recognition, they uncover crucial information about Innominat and Therians. The text reveals details about an 8-headed lord with 7 mouths that devour malevolence through earth pulses. The decoded lyrics explain how the 7 monsters consume malevolence through earth pulses to awaken the main body. It mentions 4 Empyreans and suggests a potential war that led to Innominat being sealed away. The text warns that Therians will keep spawning if someone connects with divine power. The group theorizes that Earth pulse points are where Therians would be most effectively positioned. They recall similar barriers at different locations, suggesting the presence of more Therians. They decide to investigate Polymedes, an Ammonok's temple taken over by the Abbey, as a potential Earth pulse point. An innkeeper's daughter interrupts with concerns about missing people, a priestess named Mahina and her daughter Kamawana. Eleanor Hume, an exorcist, promises to help find them. The mother had been protesting after being removed from the temple by the Abbey. At the temple, they encounter a demon wearing the crest of Ammonok, suggesting it's actually the missing priestess Mahina who is transformed. The situation becomes tense as they realize the horrifying transformation of a once-beloved village priestess. They discover another Therian protected by a barrier, confirming their theory about different forms of the Seven Heads. The group debates how to handle this Therian, agreeing that defeating it would eliminate one of Inominat's heads. The encounter culminates in witnessing the Therian consuming the demon, revealing that Malevolence refers to demons. This shocking revelation connects to the ancient text's description of how Therians devour Malevolence. A heartbreaking scene unfolds as a little girl named Kamawana confronts the loss of her mother. She questions why she was left alone and apologizes repeatedly, believing she wasn't strong enough. The Abbey had apparently transformed her into a Therian through some kind of sacrifice ritual, revealing their questionable methods. The tragic reality emerges that Kamawana's mother died trying to save her daughter, only able to offer herself as sustenance for her child in the end. The group debates whether to bring Kamawana with them, with some concerned she would slow them down. Eleanor desperately questions Oscar about the Abbey's actions. A tense confrontation occurs as Oscar tries to justify the mother's death as a necessary sacrifice to end world suffering. This explanation is firmly rejected as others defend the sanctity of the mother-daughter bond. The situation escalates as they argue over Kamawana's fate. Laphicet approaches Kamawana with compassion, introducing himself and inviting her to join their group. When she expresses loneliness about her mother, she receives comfort and reassurance that her mother will always watch over her, just like Laphicet's own mother does for him. The scene shifts as Malevolence, a dark energy, begins pouring from people's bodies. This leads to Daemonblight transformations, raising serious questions about the true nature of demons and Malevolence. The situation becomes chaotic as the transformations spread. A major revelation occurs. Daemonblight isn't actually an illness. Instead, all humans have the potential to become demons when the malevolence in their hearts overflows. This malevolence represents impure emotions and sins that exist within human souls. The Abbey has been hiding this truth to prevent societal chaos. Eleanor reflects on losing her own mother to a demon while dealing with Kamawana's situation. Meanwhile, Kamawana becomes distressed upon seeing her reflection, fearing her mother will hate her transformed appearance. This leads to an emotional moment of connection and reassurance. The scene transitions to a port where tensions rise over increased docking fees for their ship. The crew must pay higher prices due to their notorious reputation, highlighting the challenges they face as wanted individuals. The story shifts to a lighter moment involving a popular dancer named Madalu, whose performances bring hope and joy to audiences. This leads to a minor conflict with Magilu, who claims their name is being stolen, though it's revealed they don't actually perform themselves. A heated confrontation occurs between two individuals about proving their authenticity on stage. A mentor figure intervenes to stop the petty argument, advising that energy should be channeled into dance performance rather than conflict. The mentor appears to be dealing with some physical pain, but brushes it off. Background information reveals that the strict mentor Balta recognized and adopted a talented young student to pass on his knowledge. Despite his strictness, his actions stem from genuine belief in his student's abilities. Their shared pursuit of dance dreams creates a touching narrative. A discussion takes place about escorting someone out of the capital to a location beyond authorities' reach. Titania, a prison island with minimal Abbey contact, is suggested as a potential hideout. The location seems promising since escaped prisoners would unlikely return voluntarily. A deal is negotiated, exchanging passenger safety for information about a relocated demon. Meanwhile, discussion of a previous confrontation with Melchier leads to planning an aggressive strategy against the Abbey to force them into using their hostage as bait. The scene shifts to interactions involving Laphicet and Eleanor, with attempted sightseeing plans getting interrupted. A mysterious VIP is being transported to Titania, though details about their identity remain unclear. Strange incidents occur involving unusual behavior and a powerful force emanating from the north, identified as a domain. This creates concern about activities at the Empyrean's throne and prompts suggestions to quickly leave the area. The mystery monk reveals their identity as Prince Percival Ilmid Asgard, Crown Prince of the Midgard Kingdom. The revelation leads to questions about motivations, but establishes that everyone on the ship will be used for strategic advantage. Upon reaching Titania, they discover an unusually quiet prison with a dead exorcist. Investigation reveals possible demon-related violence and venomization, a dark ritual where demons consume each other to become stronger. They establish a staging ground while protecting Kamoana and the prince. A confrontation with the Headless Knight occurs, leading to its defeat. An Earth pulse point is detected underneath, revealing dark secrets about the prison's past involving Therions and Malevolence harvesting. Dramatic revelations about Velvet being a Therion emerge, along with disturbing truths about Artorius sacrificing her brother and imprisoning her. This leads to intense emotional confrontation about justice and revenge. The sequence involves a return to protect Kamoana and confrontation with the true Headless Knight on horseback, representing the actual survivor of the venomization process. The group prepares to fight for control of the island. A dramatic confrontation occurs where someone reveals their true power through venomization. This transformation proves to be more formidable than expected, demonstrating significant strength compared to previous encounters. A revelation occurs about Griffin, who is identified as a Therian, not a demon. Griffin is actually the Crown Prince's one and only childhood friend. This disclosure helps explain earlier cryptic comments made by Tabitha about upcoming revelations. The Crown Prince shares his challenging experiences growing up as royalty. He describes how even simple actions like scratching an itch during studies resulted in severe punishment. The strict expectations placed on him as an institution rather than a person shaped his entire childhood. The prince confesses to helping Griffin escape by tricking guards and disabling barriers. This led to unfortunate consequences, including an exorcist's death. While aware his actions would cause malevolence to spread in the capital, he couldn't bear to see his friend imprisoned. The scene shifts to a more personal moment involving Eleanor, who appears distressed. When Kamoana expresses worry about Eleanor's sadness, someone reluctantly agrees to check on her, showing an underlying care despite their initial resistance. Eleanor makes a major confession about working undercover for Lord Artorius, with orders to capture Laphicet. However, she declares she can no longer follow the Abbey's methods, though she still believes in Artorius' overall vision. The group discusses Earth pulse points, natural force concentrations that Innominate uses to gather malevolence. Someone demonstrates an unusual ability to sense these points from a distance, identifying major locations to the east and southeast. A discussion about crafting stronger weapons leads to talk about orichalcum, the world's strongest metal. They share a legend about a large piece discovered 200 years ago that was lost at sea during a shipwreck. A lighter moment occurs involving clothing and appearance, with characters giving mixed reactions to someone's new look. This leads to some playful banter and shows the developing group dynamics. The group goes fishing and pulls up an unusual pot that contains surprises, including hostile octopi and undead creatures. The pot turns out to be a legendary water jug from King Claudin's reign, but it transforms into a demon, leading to an intense battle. A heated battle sequence unfolds with quick exchanges of combat dialogue and intense action. The fight culminates in a dramatic confrontation where characters demonstrate their fighting prowess. The fast-paced nature of the exchange creates an exciting and tense atmosphere. A light-hearted scene occurs where Velvet is warned not to eat a pot they discovered. The group discusses their unsuccessful search for Therians, attributing their bad luck to Eisen's Reaper curse. Despite only finding weird and useless things, they maintain a positive attitude about the situation. The group shares a bonding moment where a new nickname, Fee, is given, leading to a touching exchange. Inside the discovered pot, they find valuable orichalcum, which could potentially be used to craft a special sword. This fortunate discovery helps make their expedition worthwhile despite earlier setbacks. News arrives about a dangerous demon spotted in the Aldina Plains near Logris. The Eastern Highway has reopened, leading to Stoneberry Village, where someone witnessed the demon. This information sets up their next mission and provides a clear direction for the group to pursue. The group spots a dragon, potentially the demon mentioned earlier, and detects an earth pulse point near a mountain peak. They encounter Savid, who appears to be having a private moment with a bottle of Thorny Forest, a significant drink shared between future spouses. The team receives a special geoboard from a Norman, which can be activated by speaking their Norman name. This device allows faster travel along Earth pulses, but requires finding geotrees to record data. Bienfu reveals his Norman name is Brave, causing some amusement among the group. The group encounters a powerful demon emanating strong malevolence. Despite warnings to retreat, they engage in battle, recognizing it as valuable combat experience. The fight proves challenging as the demon shows exceptional strength compared to typical opponents. An emotional scene unfolds with Kamalana crying about a dream involving her mother rejecting her. The situation showcases the challenges of dealing with children's emotional needs and highlights past experiences with similar situations. The story shifts to a town seeking protection from demons, expressing concern about the lack of exorcist support. Multiple exorcists have been heading north instead of staying to protect the town, raising questions about their true mission. A confrontation occurs with Medusa, revealed to be a Therian. Despite attempts to rescue her, she remains loyal to Shepherd Artorius and the Abbey, choosing to fight against those who oppose them. The situation escalates into a battle with continuously summoned enemies. A dramatic confrontation unfolds about malevolence and demons. Someone discusses how Diana transformed into a demon due to malevolence, leading them to become a Therian to prevent similar tragedies. They express determination to revive Enominat and transform the world, regardless of their physical form. A tense conflict occurs where someone is called out for being just a grieving mother. The situation escalates into a physical confrontation with intense emotions running high between the parties involved. A figure is labeled as the Lord of Calamity, described as a demon lord who brings chaos and embodies malevolence. They are characterized as an unrepentant being whose selfish actions will bring destruction to the world. The accused seems unbothered by these labels. The story of Kamawana emerges, a young girl forcefully transformed into a Therian by the Abbey. Her mother sacrificed herself to save her daughter, becoming food for her transformed child. This tragic tale connects to Diana and her mother's relationship. An emotional scene unfolds where Diana confronts her mother about feeling unloved and abandoned. Her mother explains her actions were meant to protect Diana, but the misunderstanding led to Diana becoming a demon through malevolence. The Abbey is criticized for exploiting Medusa's regrets and turning her into a Therian. A discussion follows about responsibility, reason, and the consequences of actions, with someone refusing to ignore the impact of their choices. The scene shifts to a hideout where Medusa meets Kamawana. revealing both their struggles with their transformed states. They form a touching connection as Medusa consoles the young girl about her mother's love. The group discusses their next moves against the Abbey. They plan to locate Earth pulse points and capture remaining Therians before their hideout is discovered. Port Taliesin is mentioned as their next destination. A dramatic reunion occurs with someone thought dead, leading to emotional reactions and disbelief. The situation seems suspicious to some members of the group, who maintain their guard. A touching scene reveals Luffy has been in a coma since a significant incident. Despite healing physically, they remain unconscious. Someone vows to wake them and cherishes a meaningful comb gift. A revelation occurs about someone being a demon who attacked the village 3 years ago. Despite this confession, they receive acceptance and understanding from Nico, who wants to maintain their friendship and keep the secret. A conversation takes place about borrowing a compass. Someone reflects on how special the compass was to a person who dreamed of adventure and loved staring at the sea. A discussion follows about friendship and life before certain events occurred. There is also talk about pudding being too sweet. A tense confrontation occurs where someone admits to being a terrible person for trying to reclaim their old life. They express deep grief and anger over Laphicet being murdered, vowing revenge. The scene escalates into a confrontation with some dogs whose owner was killed. The dream art evaporates, revealing a discussion about an important ancient book found in Velvet's house. The scene moves to a gravesite of a sister and her unborn son. Melchier appears, revealing he created the dream fog, and claims the book contains noble hopes and dreams. A discovery is made about Laphicet making a handwritten copy of an important book, which he sold to buy a comb. This copy might reveal secrets about the Nomina. Emotional reflections follow about Laphicet's character, a sickly but studious child who dreamed of traveling. The scene shifts to a serious discussion between Teresa, Oscar, and Artorius about an experimental and potentially fatal art. Despite Teresa's protests, Oscar volunteers to use this dangerous technique. Teresa is relieved of her duties as an exorcist due to her Malak's power level. A situation develops involving the Corsair Scourge and treatment with Salatoma. Teresa appears, revealing information about a powerful new art developed by Melchier that Oscar has acquired. She offers herself as a hostage to protect her brother. Teresa shares her backstory as a maid in the Dragonia family, where Oscar was the only one who treated her as family. She provides information about the Therian's location through Baird Marsh in Ancient Kingdom ruins, explaining she's lost her exorcist powers after losing number 1. The mood lightens with a discussion about a Lionel giant thunderstag beetle. This leads to Teresa sharing memories of young Oscar collecting bugs, revealing their close sibling relationship despite not being blood-related. She recalls how she would help catch bugs for him despite finding them gross. A deep conversation unfolds about understanding feelings and emotions. Despite the challenges that both people and Malaks face in expressing themselves, there is a shared belief in the importance of speaking from the heart, even when it's difficult. The discussion highlights how everyone struggles with communicating their true feelings. A tense confrontation occurs between siblings where one threatens the other's life to gain information about an Abbey theory. When given the ultimatum, they agree to put down their weapons, showing how family bonds can be exploited in dangerous situations. Teresa makes a dramatic choice to protect Oscar by fusing with the Nominon, gaining incredible power, but at a great cost. The fusion represents a desperate attempt to protect a loved one, even if it means sacrificing oneself. This shocking transformation changes everything about the situation. Oscar undergoes aromatization in response to Teresa's actions. The transformation is intense and powerful, but Oscar begins losing control of the power. The situation quickly spirals as he transforms into a dragon-like creature, showing how these powers can overwhelm their users. The aftermath of Oscar's death is emotionally devastating, especially for Teresa. She shares a touching story about Oscar giving her family heirloom earrings meant for his future wife, showing their deep sibling bond. Her grief transforms into rage against those responsible. A major revelation occurs as Bienfu is exposed as a spy, with Melchier having planned everything from the beginning. This betrayal was calculated and inevitable, though some show surprising compassion despite the deception. The group faces this new challenge with determined practicality. A fierce battle breaks out involving forbidden arts and multiple opponents. The conflict escalates as various fighters unleash powerful abilities, leading to devastating consequences. Some combatants end up destroying themselves in the process. An emotional discussion about protection and promises reveals deep-seated pain and loss. Past tragedies are remembered, particularly regarding Luffy's death. The conversation highlights how past trauma affects current relationships and trust. A dramatic escape sequence unfolds as enemy ships approach. Difficult decisions must be made about who stays and who goes, with some choosing to sacrifice themselves to protect others. The tension builds as time runs out. The situation becomes increasingly complex as new revelations from a deciphered book create urgency. The group faces tough choices about their next moves while dealing with pursuit. Meanwhile, critical confrontations with key figures like Artorius raise the stakes. A dramatic confrontation unfolds as Laphicet Crowe reveals himself to be Empyrean Inomaniat, the suppressor, who appears before Velvet claiming to be her brother. This revelation causes intense emotional turmoil as Velvet struggles to accept this reality, insisting it's just another illusion, while the enemy threatens to devour them all. The true nature of the Empyrean's power is explained. The antagonists had already collected 6 types of malevolence: greed, conceit, lust, cowardice, selfishness, and obsession. They only needed 2 more types from Velvet to fully awaken Inomaniat, and an Earth Pulse wasn't even necessary to accomplish this. An emotional exchange occurs between Velvet and the figure appearing as her brother. He speaks of his frailty and how he caused trouble, while Velvet expresses her deep regret at not being able to protect him. She confesses to the acts of devouring and killing she committed in pursuit of vengeance. The brother figure reveals his alignment with Arthur, explaining their plan to eliminate all pain and negative emotions from the world. This would effectively suppress human free will, similar to how they control the Malequin. The goal is to create a world free from demons by removing people's ability to generate malevolence. A flashback reveals a fatigued traveler encountering Celica Crowe. The traveler, who has been journeying for 10 years, initially refuses help, but Celica offers food and comfort. The traveler eventually identifies himself as Arthur, later known as Artorius. Another flashback shows peaceful domestic scenes between Arthur and Celica, where they discuss home repairs and concerns about brigands. Their conversation reveals their relationship and mentions Velvet watching over Luffy, painting a picture of their life before tragedy struck. The peaceful scene transforms into the tragic Scarlet Night. Chaos erupts in Velvet's village as demons attack. Despite Arthur's desperate attempts to save his family, he fails to protect Celica and their unborn child, leading to devastating consequences. The sequence reveals the aftermath where Arthur encounters Malequin and learns about Inominat's incomplete resurrection. Overwhelmed by grief and fate's cruelty, he makes a pact with nameless Malik, vowing to end all worldly pain and completely abandoning his former identity. In a dramatic confrontation, Artorius Cobrand reveals he has inherited the will and strength of Claudine Asgard, the former head of exorcists. The scene sets up a tense atmosphere as characters discover an Earth Pulse rift that might offer an escape route. A crucial revelation occurs about a ceremony to resurrect Inominate, requiring 2 souls with powerful resonance free of malevolence to be sacrificed on the Scarlet Night. One sacrifice was made 7 years ago, leading to increased demon visibility for everyone. Another sacrifice would complete the resurrection. A touching moment unfolds as someone reveals they have the 12-year sickness and volunteers to be the sacrifice, not wanting to burden others. They express their desire to create a new world where their sister can be happy, comparing their determination to birds flying in the sky. The scene shifts to intense emotions of betrayal and revenge, particularly regarding someone named Laphicet. The pain of not being able to help them weighs heavily, leading to emotional outbursts and denials. A confrontation reveals dark truths about a sister who has become consumed by hatred and violence, described as having a tainted soul that destroys everything in her path. The reality of countless innocent deaths and destruction of entire towns comes to light. An emotional struggle ensues as someone tries to sacrifice themselves, believing they don't deserve to live. Another character passionately argues against this, declaring their love and willingness to fight the whole world to protect them, regardless of their flaws. The narrative shifts to discuss the endless cycle of destroying and rebuilding one's heart, with characters debating the nature of an ideal world and the strength required to pursue it. Some choose to embrace life despite its ugliness. A powerful declaration is made about continuing the quest for vengeance, despite knowing its meaninglessness. The speaker acknowledges their contradictions, but affirms that their past experiences prove they truly lived, making their revenge worth pursuing. The Lord of Calamity emerges as a central figure, refusing to give up even in the face of death. Allies join the fight, including Magilu Maven, showing their trust and support through action rather than words. The conflict escalates as the protagonist is labeled as evil and a demon lord by their opponents. The scene concludes with characters escaping through a dimensional space in an abbey facility on Hexon Isle, aided by someone named Savid. A tense scene unfolds where someone tries to convince another person to come along, warning them about dragon danger. There is concern about leaving someone behind and discussion of finding them a vessel. The atmosphere is filled with uncertainty and mild threats. A nostalgic memory of playing tag transitions into a dramatic confrontation. Someone is accused of turning another into a dragon, claiming it as a necessary sacrifice for peace. The situation quickly escalates into conflict with high emotional stakes. An intense standoff occurs with threats from multiple directions. A sibling relationship is revealed during this confrontation, with the older sister showing determination against adversity. A character named Sabin emerges, declaring themselves as a powerful Moloch. The group faces overwhelming odds, but maintains focus on survival. They develop a strategy to take down opponents one by one. Someone suggests that giving their enemy a swift death would be merciful. The tension continues to build. A major battle breaks out with plans to defeat a dragon. The confrontation intensifies as characters take strategic positions. Fee faces a powerful opponent alone, while others are tasked with handling the dragon threat. The battle reaches a critical point, with multiple participants giving their all. Someone admits to previous miscalculations and promises not to hold back. The fighting becomes more intense, with rapid exchanges and powerful attacks. A dramatic turning point occurs involving a compass and revelations about character relationships. A dangerous situation develops with threats of transformation into a dragon. The conflict reaches a climax with potentially fatal consequences. The aftermath reveals strange powers involving silver flames and malevolence. Discussion of powerful beings called Empyreans and their importance emerges. Plans are made for a ceremony of suppression, with new threats being organized. Deep conversations about identity, memories, and relationships unfold. Characters grapple with questions of who they really are and their connections to others. Past actions and sacrifices are examined with regret and understanding. Personal reflections on revenge and destiny occur. Characters accept their roles, even difficult ones like being called Lord of Calamity. Touching moments about personal connections and family memories provide emotional depth. A sudden demon attack creates chaos and puts lives in danger. Zavid emerges as a protector, leading to confrontations with a character named Ifrid. Personal loyalties and past debts come into play during this crisis. The scene concludes with bittersweet farewells and promises of future meetings. Unresolved tensions remain between characters, particularly regarding their different creeds and approaches to conflict. The stage is set for future confrontations. A discussion about swordsmithing reveals that even the strongest materials like Stormquell can break. The conversation highlights that hardness alone is not enough for a great blade. A master swordsmith expresses humility about their previous pride, but receives high praise as the greatest swordsmith in the world, particularly noted for their ability to work with exotic materials like orichalcum. The group discusses a concerning ceremony called the Suppression Ritual. This ceremony appears to be Enominat's plan to unleash his power. Without absorbing Laphicet, Enominat remains incomplete, but if fully awakened, humanity risks losing their free will. Some celebrate this as a way to eliminate malevolence, but others see it as deeply problematic. The group encounters Minot's domain where people's wills are being stolen, though not yet fully sealed away. They decide to head to Port Sexton. A merchant they meet seems mentally affected, expressing extreme guilt over past actions and a compulsion toward suicide. This demonstrates the disturbing effects of the suppression ritual on people's minds. The team heads to Logris to investigate the extent of the suppression power. They discover most people have lost their free will, including children. They meet Tabitha, who has somehow maintained her autonomy, and learn that Prince Percival was helping people escape to a villa. The group plans to sneak in through the catacombs to investigate. A tragic encounter reveals a child whose mother was executed for stealing food. The child, affected by the suppression, believes the execution was justified due to it being against reason. This showcases the horrifying reality of Shepherd Artorius' world, one without emotions, where both positive and negative feelings are suppressed. Prince Griffin shares his personal awakening, realizing he doesn't want to lose his identity to suppression. The group commits to stopping Shepherd Artorius, not for others, but for themselves. There is notable character growth, particularly in how they now control their own destiny rather than being driven purely by hatred. The team formulates a plan to counter the suppression by awakening 4 Empyreans before the ceremony is completed. They acknowledge it's a gamble against time. The group heads to Mount Killer House, determined to stop the suppression ritual. Internal dialogues reveal complex relationships between characters and their acceptance of difficult choices ahead. The narrative shifts to a powerful moment where Kuragane, a blacksmith, is forging himself into a sword. This represents an ultimate sacrifice to defeat Storm Howl. The scene explores themes of humanity, discussing how human nature involves both love and hate, admiration and resentment. It highlights the strength in accepting both good and bad aspects of life. The sequence ends with a lighter moment involving a game of hide-and-seek with Comio, showing the group's ability to maintain humanity and playfulness despite their serious mission. Eleanor gets accused of cheating, bringing some normality to their extraordinary circumstances. A playful game of hide-and-seek reveals the use of a strategy involving Beanfus help to find Kamalana and Dial. While some call it cheating, it is defended as clever strategy, demonstrating both smarts and strength. Everyone shows concern for each other's safety and well-being. The cold weather becomes a topic of concern as it might cause hibernation. A humorous exchange occurs about the difference between crocodiles and lizards, specifically about their ability to regrow tails. The conversation reveals deep aspirations to create a better world for all beings. A tense confrontation emerges regarding Kamawana's fate, with threats of violence exchanged. The situation is diffused when someone sneezes, leading to suggestions of visiting a hot spring at a nearby inn to warm up. Some hesitation about bathing together creates an awkward but amusing moment. A serious discussion about awakening 4 Empyreans reveals major consequences: changes in resonance, Malachim gaining free will, exorcists losing power, and massive environmental upheaval, including volcanic eruptions. The changes would impact civilization significantly, including the loss of gunpowder technology. A philosophical debate unfolds about ideals and the nature of existence. One side advocates for order and purity, while the other champions natural chaos and authentic living. The argument compares fake flowers to real ones, questioning the value of controlled perfection versus wild authenticity. An intimate moment occurs during hair combing, leading to discussions about transformation and dreams of a simpler life. The conversation reveals deep regrets about past sacrifices and the inability to return to normalcy, highlighting the weight of previous decisions. Battle preparations begin on a Scarlet Night. Everyone receives specific assignments, with particular attention to facing Shigur and Melchier. The team coordinates their strategy with clear objectives and roles for each member. The revelation of Kuragane's transformation into a sword creates excitement. This new weapon represents centuries of study and holds great potential, though it hasn't yet earned its full title of Kuragane Stormquill. An intense battle scene unfolds, revealing unexpected power dynamics. A shocking revelation shows that a seemingly powerful fighter had been intentionally restrained for training purposes, demonstrating incredible human potential and determination. The battle concludes with a meaningful exchange about the way of the sword. Final wisdom is shared about the simplicity of swordsmanship. Rejoice in victory, feel frustrated in failure, and accept death when it comes. This philosophy is celebrated for its straightforward nature. A tense scene unfolds as characters discuss Artorius' stony demeanor, wishing he could smile more. The conversation reveals underlying tension between the characters as they confirm their readiness for what lies ahead. One character declares their blade has found its mark, suggesting a successful attack. The group finds themselves in an extremely hot volcanic environment. Despite complaints about the scorching heat, they detect powerful energy flowing from the Earth pulse, identifying it as a life spring. They discover Melchier is not present at their location, but rather waiting at the volcano's peak. A critical revelation about the awakening of Empyreans emerges. 3 souls are needed, but would be insufficient to seal Anominat's power. The situation is precarious. Missing even 1 soul during the awakening process could cause the volcano to explode. Melchier challenges them to come take his soul, setting up a potential trap. A surprising connection is revealed. Magilu, formerly known as Magellanica Lu Maven, was Melchior's foster doctor and disciple before being cast out. This revelation identifies them as the Lost Legate, drawing parallels between their relationship with Melchier and that of Velvet and Artorius. The nature of elemental Empyreans is explained. They maintain balance between earth, water, wind, and fire. Their power comes from pure-hearted prayers, but human corruption led to their slumber. Anominat serves to purify humanity by consuming souls, allowing the Empyreans to safely revive. The Abbey's true motives are exposed. They aim to control Anominat's power to guide humanity into a new era using aromatization technology from Siegfried. This reveals the calculated nature of their plans and the sacrifices deemed necessary for their ideal world. After defeating the legates, the group prepares for their final battle against Anominat and the Shepherd. Benwick gifts a fortune apple as a good luck charm, leading to important revelations about the power to consume being connected to Anominat. A private conversation reveals deeper emotions and concerns. A request is made to care for Laphicet if something goes wrong, hinting at potential sacrifice. The discussion touches on hope, beauty in the world, and personal motivations. The group discovers a teleportation art, indicating they are expected for the final confrontation. They realize Anominat needs both the speaker and Laphicet to fully awaken, setting up the climactic battle ahead. The Lord of Calamity and allies face the Shepherd. The clash represents opposing ideologies, will without reason versus the hopes of mankind. Personal vendettas and larger conflicts come to a head in this ultimate showdown. The scene opens with a powerful metaphor about birds flying simply because they want to, not because they need a reason or were ordered to. This represents the core theme of freedom and self-determination, even in the face of potential consequences. There is a tense confrontation where foolish actions are blamed for creating demons and causing worldwide despair. A challenge is issued to Shepherd Artorius about driving out these demons, revealing his predetermined plan to do so. The intensity builds as characters show their determination to fight, with references to suffering and flying. The scene is charged with emotion and resolve as they prepare to face a major conflict. A poignant moment occurs involving a comb from Lofi, leading to reflections on identity and transformation. The Lord of Calamity emerges, expressing deep emotional and physical emptiness through hunger metaphors. A philosophical statement about humanity's suppression due to sin is made. All emotions, including love, must be controlled. The goal is to achieve tranquility through strict control and suppression of human nature. A touching moment reveals past struggles, including enduring pain and following strict rules. The scene is filled with raw emotion as characters express their feelings of hatred and exhaustion from fighting. A major turning point occurs as Velvet decides to seal Enominiot in an endless cycle of mutual destruction. This sacrificial act demonstrates tremendous courage and acceptance of consequences. The aftermath reveals the need for balance among elemental Empyreans. A new Empyrean must step up to prevent worldwide destruction that could take millennia to heal from. A hopeful vision for the world is presented, focusing on giving people second chances and allowing them time to recover and grow stronger. It emphasizes accepting human imperfection while striving for progress. The story concludes with discussions about transformation and redemption. The Silver Flame offers chances for change, but cannot force it. People must choose their own path to redemption. The finale emphasizes ongoing human struggle and resilience. Despite cruelty and uncertainty in the world, there remains faith in humanity's capacity for both strength and kindness, exemplified by the commitment to keep living and fighting for a better future.